Hello, veterans, dedicated VA employees, everybody watching. Welcome. Welcome to Veteran Lang here. I am your friendly VA attorney, Matthew Lang. I decided to try a new entrance, and all I can think about is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Anybody else watch that? Or maybe I'm a little bit older than some now, and maybe some, they had a different show that they watched. I'm kind of curious. What was it? What was your growing up show? I remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I remember Sesame Street before, as a joke, Elmo took it hostage when Big Bird was in charge. Hey everyone, we're here to talk about VA compensation, VA benefits. We look to improve the process, be the solution to the problem. It's definitely not easy work. It's definitely stressful work, and we're up for the task. That is for sure. What do I want to do for this video? Well, there's a comment I had that was a little while back, and it made me think, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And I really appreciate the idea of us representatives, us accredited attorneys, other accredited agents, maybe even VSOs, understanding what's on the inside of the VA. And as somebody who came from the VA after working inside for more than 13 years, I thought I had a good handle of what the inside looked like, and maybe I do, but maybe I did for only that period of time. So the question ultimately is, what's the inside of the VA look like now? What's going on in there? Why are we seeing denials of that don't review evidence, denials that ignore case law, denials that look like they were rushed and pushed out the door, denials where they look like somebody collected their paycheck and benefits that day and just went home? Why does it feel that the veterans are being denied or having benefits taken away from them intentionally? I'm not saying it's intentional. I'm just saying it feels that way, and it's really putting off that vibe. We've seen an increase in an intake in claims where veterans have all the evidence, the laws fit, the rules fit, the RVSR has done the job correctly, has made the grant the way it was supposed to be done by weighing the evidence, and then there's still another claim out there perhaps, or maybe an effective date got assigned incorrectly, so maybe they didn't do everything correctly. Ultimately, it lands back in the VA's hands. It lands maybe with the DRO, and this is typically what we're seeing. And that DRO, the decision review officer, who's supposed to be a higher level person, and from what I recall, a GS-13 level individual, is supposed to be better than the RVSR, more educated, but we're finding that they seem to be taking away benefits unjustly. They violate the law. They go back and say, no, I disagree with this person and this was wrong. But why? If not for just to take away benefits. So we see a lot of this stuff, and I think it makes me question what's really going on inside the VA. Now, I can't tell you for sure. I do hear rumors. I do hear a few things, but I'm not going to share those because those are all in confidence. But I would be curious to know more of what's on the inside. But until we do know, and until somebody has the courage to really come out and share that, and maybe they already are, and maybe there's a channel out there that does it and I'm not fully aware of it. If so, point me in that direction too. I'd love to watch that channel and get to know that information. But in the meantime, the point is why can't we do something similar here? Why can't I let you know what's happening on the inside here? Well, at least to the extent that I'm allowed to by the rules and the laws. Because the idea is we're working with a lot of confidential information. We're working with veterans information that is protected by privacy rules, by HIPAA. And so I can't share you in any of that. I can't share any of that with you. But what if I sat down and gave you a peek of what the inside here looks like? So let's do that. For this video, I want you to get to know us more here on who we are, what we do, and what we strive to do. Now, are we perfect in our processes? No, we'll try to be, but unfortunately, perfection is a really high bar to meet. And I just haven't got there yet. So bear with me, because I might. So here's what a typical day looks like for us veterans. We come in the door here early mornings. Maybe the paralegal will make it in before me. Maybe it's me coming in earlier to get some stuff done. Kind of like today when it comes to filming this video. We come in, we get to know how each other's days went. I do have a part-time legal assistant as well, full-time paralegal, just so you know. There's only 3 of us, so we'll get to know, hey, how was your day? How was your evening? How was your weekend? We want to honestly know. We want to make sure everybody's doing well, and we want to make sure that if there's some time that they need off for family, for emergencies, or maybe just a moment to reset with all the stress and the workings that occur within this job. We want to make sure that that happens. So we do. I feel like we take care of each other pretty well here. We definitely sit down and talk. Now, we don't talk all day long. We don't have that kind of time. So veterans, you are the focus. So we come in, we do that. Not only are we getting to know how each other's doing and how their day's been, evenings been, weekends have been, but we want to know what our workload looks like for the day. Now, in most cases, I have a general idea. I think we all do when we come in for the morning because we've kind of looked at the day ahead on the previous day. But that's not always the case. My calendar changes overnight. Sometimes we've got VA case evaluations or consults that get scheduled overnight. We get sometimes hearings that pop in there, other meetings that may jump in. So my schedule can be a little bit more chaotic, I think. But we sit down, we talk about that calendar. What does it look like? Who needs to be where? And how do we help each other out? What tasks need to be done? Do we need to schedule extra time to review additional files? To sit down as a team to look at things. So that's how the morning starts. And then somewhere in there, I get my joyous coffee for the morning. Now we're going to eventually go to our desks, to our offices. We're going to sit down and we're going to start going through, myself anyway, and then we'll go through some email. I know my team does as well. But in what order they do that, I leave that up to them and what works the best for them as long as the job is getting done and veterans are getting served. So myself, I'll take a peek at the email. Do I get a chance to respond to everybody right away? No, and my email gets quite chaotic with everything I got going on, especially as the business owner. I'm working to improve that, but you know my email gets quite chaotic. Now, it's possible that our phones will start ringing first thing in the morning once our opening hours have arrived. Sometimes it takes later in the day. Phone may ring. Hey, if paralegal has answered the phone, no one else is available to answer the phone, I will answer my own phone. I really will. I grew up with the idea that the janitor and the CEO should be treated the same. Not one was necessarily higher than the other one. So I will definitely step in and I'll help. I'll greet individuals at the door. If my team is busy, I will sit with them right away. If I'm not busy, I'll schedule the consults or the VA case evaluations if I need to. We help each other out. That's the whole idea. And I think that's what makes coming to us so great is we work as a team. And not do we just work as a team, but we work as a team who shows passion, care, and concern. I'm not your typical attorney by any means, and nor do I want to be. So we strive to be more personable as much as we can. So we get to the phones, we communicate in other ways too. We have a client portal that allows veterans to ask questions throughout the various hours that they may be available or awake. We do work with veterans nationwide, so that could be times where we're not in the office, but at least when we come in, we can go through all those messages and get those answered throughout the day. It's also a spot where we get the opportunity to share more information and evidence and files and all that other good stuff. Now we also have a setup for text messaging. Some people enjoy the text messaging. we'll answer those too. Emails. We be as flexible as we can. So the day is not just full of emails and phone calls and messages. We then sit down and we review the appeals and the cases and the claims that we have for veterans. Veterans, you could be in various stages, various stages with us. When you first come in, we sign you up. We're going to file the representation paperwork. We're going to have to wait for the VA to give us access to your VA file so we can see what's going on. I mean, we got great information typically from the veterans for those who are able to give it to us, but we really like seeing the file so we can actually gauge what the VA has, what they're looking at, and what they're doing when we build our strategy. Now, that could take, we're experiencing a week to a month, and it seems to be more common. I have to reach out to our local VA office and make them busier because something in the system is not working again. That tends to happen periodically. I don't know what it is. We file stuff and it just claims in the portal that we file it to that it's been processed, but it hasn't been. So I don't know, VA, if you're listening, I don't know what's going on there, but I imagine you're trying to work a fix. I hope. If not, there might be a problem there. But yeah, so we go through the cases. Now, when we go through all your cases, veterans, we try to take the stress on ourselves. We want to take a lot of stress off you. Now, I can't take every stress off you. And I know that. You're going to be still thinking about your claim. You're going to be wondering about your appeal. You're going to want to know every moment of the day. Some of you are so worried about it that you are constantly clicking on the refresh button on the VA page, and I hear about it. We don't want you to be that stressed out. You got to understand that this is going to take a little bit of time. Time that I know for many, that's all they've been giving the VA. But we got to put the strategy together. I want it to be a winning strategy, even if it feels like the VA is not going to read the strategy or pay attention. Because ultimately, we're not building the claim for the VA, or just the VA, I should say. We anticipate that with the number of errors going on, the chaos that I understand going on in the VA at the moment, the lack of potential oversight that I've heard about, that we need to be prepared for higher litigation. We need to be prepared for the Board of Veterans' Appeals and maybe even the Court of Veterans' Appeals, or the CAVIC, the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. So understand, we're thinking about all this. We're thinking about every avenue, every angle. We're looking at the evidence. Now, at some point, veterans, we may just ask you for the evidence that we need before we file anything. I sometimes get pushback on that, which I find fascinating, but that's fine. We try to explain why and make sense of it to the veterans as much as possible. There's times where we'll file claims knowing evidence is coming just to preserve dates, effective dates, especially knowing that the VA is going to take some time to work on it anyways, and then there'll be some time to submit that evidence. If it's an appeal issue, we, especially a high-level review or something to the Board of Veterans Appeals, I'm putting together legal arguments and briefs back here. Myself, my team are all coming together. We review everything in detail. We look at what the VA is writing. We understand the can text. We understand the mindset, especially of somebody who helped train them, somebody who was one of them for so many years. What I'm looking at is, some people might say is AI generated, but it looks very human generated for something that's been done for 10 years or more. But we look at it. Now, while we're handling all this paperwork back here, and we're doing all of that, the stress for us that we take on is the idea that we just are astounded by what we do see. Now, again, we see the bad and the ugly. We're astounded by the idea of such basic errors, such crucial errors, and such lack of of care, or at least seems to be. Now, again, the whole VA doesn't work that way. We're only talking about a fraction. But with that, the idea is we work to take that stress off, and when we work to build out the claim the best we can. So there's an insight there for you veterans to how we operate. Now I'd be interested to hear VA. What's it look like on your side? So anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next Tuesday.